Baze, how you doing?
Awesome, my man. What's going on?
Not much. Were you able to get much golf in during this pandemic?
Ton of golf.
I was curious about that because in seeing, the Tiger and Phil thing with Peyton and Tom Brady and how people talked about seeing an NBA version, you were one of the first people that came to mind. Do you think there's a chance you'd be interested in that? And I mean, I know maybe the forefront of people may not think of you in that way, but you being one of the NBA's least most active and best golfers probably on in the league right now. I mean, do you kind of consider yourself that way?
Oh yeah, for sure. Golf serves as my cross training in the summer. Alongside strength and conditioning, I play a ton of golf. I compete in a lot of my club championships, member gas. Just so many different things that kind of stay sharp competitively. Watching the Tiger and Phil thing, I was definitely having a little bit of FOMO. It'd be cool to kind of be a part of that. And my handicap's down to like a 4 now. So definitely think I'm one of the best in the league.
Awesome, awesome. And thinking about Orlando and you guys being kind of hungry enough to make this a playoff push with these remaining 8 games, have you been able to kind of reflect just on your time here in Sacramento and just the impact you've had on this team and kind of shaping that playoff push a little bit?
It was kind of a quick stint. Come to think about it, I came here in maybe late January, I want to say, and COVID happened early second week of March. So, and when I got here, I just kind of hit the ground running as far as games and practices and trying to get caught up. So, it's definitely been a blur, but it's definitely been good to come back and kind of explore the area up in Roseville, Auburn, California, bounce around and just kind of exploring a little bit and see, everything that this area has to offer and really nice and easy life up here and, meeting new people and just kind of, seeing what Sacramento is all about.
Yeah, and what's just made it so easy for you to kind of find a role within this roster?
I just think that the guys' approach to the game, anytime you're a part of an organization or a team that's, looking to get over the hump and looking to try to do anything that they can to win, it just aligns with, who I am. I love building things from the ground up. I love being a part of kind of the grassroots of something great. And with the young core here and Coach Walton kind of getting his feet wet and, leading the playoff team, it was just kind of made for me to bring my experience, Eastern Conference Finals, 60-win teams, a bunch of playoff experience, just bring it in and trying to implement it as best I can to this team.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Mask off.
James Ham.
Hey, what's going on, Ken? How are you?
Good, man. You got the chicken and waffles back there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Tiger
Yeah.
King.
Look, we talked to Corey Brewer yesterday about this a little bit, but I know you've got a young son. How difficult is this going to be to disappear for 5 weeks? It's not your typical season where you're ducking in and out, but this is going to be you gone for such a long stretch.
It's tough. It's tough on, being a husband and a father. I cried like a little baby when I left to head out here a couple weeks ago. And, just seeing him and my wife stand on the front porch and as I'm leaving and he has like absolutely no idea, that I'm gone for as long as I'm going to be gone. So it's definitely tough. And especially with him being at such a young age, he's 14 months now. And, it's pivotal, as a child to kind of have that, stable foundation. And my wife's also pregnant with a little girl coming in September. So, and the realistic front of it is very tough. I've had some people in my corner that have, kind of, helped me with the ease of making this decision to go and play. In your 20s and 30s, you're making a lot of sacrifices. from your families and, doing certain things. But, it's just, I'm in a position to really set up my legacy and really help those behind me. So it's a tough decision, and it's something that my wife and I are diligently, working on, trying to stay connected, phone calls, videos, FaceTime, doing this, everything we can to kind of stay connected and make light of the situation.
One more question. Do you think you were able to fit in so well here so quickly? And we've talked about this in the past, but is this a place that after this shortened season that you might want to might want to make a permanent home here?
Oh yeah, I like it a lot out here. Obviously having some roots down in the Bay Area, and a lot of the people that were in the Bay Area, with the Golden State Warriors when I was there, or up here in some form of fashion, even starting with ownership. So a lot of similarities, and I think Tina, Penny, Coach Lucas, a lot of people here that really look out for your best interest, and they've really made this Mel. They really made this transition really smooth, and for the players, just a ton of good guys. You look at a guy like Darren Fox is, really, really talented, but also a great kid. My first time really interacting with Marvin Bagley, just raw talent. It's fun to watch him work out. He's just, so springy out there. It's cool. And Harrison Barnes, us being rookie, teammates as rookies, to kind of, go our separate ways and come back and, talk about some of the things we've learned. It's Rashawn Holmes. I mean, I can go down the list. Corey Joseph, who's a champion with his experience. Yeah, this is definitely a place that I can see myself playing, for the next couple of years with a team, with so much promise. I definitely want to be a part of that.
Matt George.
Kent, it's good to talk to you. Congratulations on your incoming daughter.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The team was playing really, really well before the season came to a stop. Momentum is a tricky thing. Is that something that you feel will be difficult to translate into the resumption of the season over 4 months later, or is this team prepared to hit the ground running and pick up right where they left off?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are nervous about that for some reason, but I think the way we play, I really think it's going to, shorten that, I guess, chemistry or whatever. We share the ball. We play. We're a very unselfish team. Defensively, we're very active, and I think our DNA within us is fit for an environment like Orlando. A lot of people are trying to choose favorites, but what people fail to realize is that teams, it takes a season to build up to being a dominant team. You see the Lakers and the Clippers, who by the end of the year, by the time COVID happened, they were looking like they were favorites to run away with it all. But with this break, and some guys may not have been working, some guys may have worked. I think it's up for grabs. It's a very, very fun environment. It's an environment that I love to thrive in, that I've thrived in, dating back to the Vegas Summer League. Where it's just business, and you go down there, you take care of your body, you follow the rules, you hoop, and that's my type of environment. And I think we have a lot of guys on this team that are thriving that as well. We're a very fiery team. Our coaching staff is, they bring the energy. The guys on the bench, including myself, when the guys, the starters are out there, we're all bringing the energy. So we're looking forward to it.
Jason Jones.
Hey, doing, Kent?
What's up, my man?
Not much. You talked a little about already about just having been, in Eastern Conference Finals, been in the playoffs. So you're familiar with the pressure that comes with the way the games are played in this stage of the season. What can you give a young guy like a De'Aaron, Buddy, Marvin, guys like that who have never been in this position, and the idea, the level of pressure that is with every game and how every little thing will matter in
Well,
each of these big games?
Well, yeah, obviously the pressure is there, but my advice to them is just don't be afraid to fail. Go out there, be aggressive, because we're only gonna be great if you're being aggressive. If you're trying to, go out and make the perfect play, or do certain things that may slow you down and take you out of who you are. It's not gonna benefit us. So, I just want these guys to go out and compete. At the end of the day, because it may not be pretty down there. It may not be, the basketball that everyone's accustomed to watching during the NBA season. So we just at the end of the day, we got to find a way to get it done. And I just want my guys to go out there, play as hard as possible while you're on the floor, give it all you got, and let's go win some games.
And you touched on it about, leaving the family and how tough that is to be gone this long of a stretch, the uniqueness of that. Could that be a thing for in terms of people think about the bubble as being a way to focus, but could that be a thing that mentally tests you, just the idea that you're in this situation, it's not a normal road trip, you're not going to go home, after the game? Just how does that test you mentally in this situation?
Well, I mean, it's ultimately going to come down to the survival of the fittest. When I was back in Atlanta working out, I had a couple jokes with my trainers just saying, it's not about, who's the best basketball player this time of the year. It's about who's going to go the hardest and the longest. It's just about outlasting guys. It's a lot that guys are sacrificing to make this happen on both sides, coaches and players. So, we're all going to miss our families, but at the end of the day, we're down there to work. Who's going to stay focused? Who's going, who's going to take care of their body? Who's going, maintain the focus or for, how many days we're down there, bringing it every day. Who's going to be able to play in the empty gyms? Who's going? It's just so many variables to playing great basketball, and I've been successful at it, and that's kind of some of the stuff I'm gonna share with my younger guys. I went to the Vegas Summer League, and while other guys were out, partying and stuff, and hanging out all night, I was in my hotel room in the ice tub, looking at film on my laptop or watching videos of Kobe Bryant all night. It's just staying locked in, and it paid off. I was in a non-guaranteed situation then, and I'm in a contract year now, so. I feel very comfortable going out into the situation, and they also have 3 golf courses, so happy about that too.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Just going to do a few more. Michelle Dapper.
Hi, Ken. Congrats on the new daughter coming on board.
Thank you.
You talked about survival of the fittest. Talk to me about how are you feeling physically, and how did you stay in shape during this time?
I feel great. I feel the best I've felt in a very long time. I went back to Atlanta on the 13th of March, and probably took about 3 or 4 days off, and I called my trainer. I was like, man, let's get it. It's the first time in a while that I've quote unquote finished a season on a high note, physically. This year is one of my best years to date. Hadn't missed any games. I was available every night. I really got into a rhythm of taking care of my mind and body. So I feel great. Put on a few pounds and, polished up my game a little bit, with some stuff that, talking to some of the coaches over the break, just, trying to dial in, how I can, best fit in with this team. And I'm looking forward to, going down there and kind of, picking up where we left off.
Sean Cunningham.
Hey, Kent, real quick, because you had some teammates who had tested positive, I was curious, you, especially being sort of a veteran presence, do you guys, did that kind of help put a face to this disease for a lot of teammates, a lot of people within the organization? Because in society, it seems like there's some people who either are affected really closely to it or not at all, and because it's not at all, they kind of treat it a little bit different. Do you think that having 3 teammates kind of helped put a face to it a little bit?
Well, before that, I have a pregnant wife and a son that's, really young. So it was, uber important for us early on to take everything very seriously. So, I don't take, these type of things lightly. You know, I try to abide by the rules as best I can. You know, the only thing I do outside of, you know, basketball is golf, and, you know, that's outdoors, and you got your own cart, you got your own clubs, you got, you know, you don't have to touch anybody. So, you know, I take it very, very seriously. I'm always conscious of who I'm around. And I'm not afraid to ask who they've been around. If I have buddies that wanted to stop by while I was in Atlanta, you know, you just ask them the question, man, what you been doing? You know, you got to ask those questions. And I think it's you know, the team that takes it the most serious is the team that's going to come out on top. You know, because they do have a lot of common areas for guys down there with bowling and ping pong and all this stuff. But that's going to be stuff I'll probably stay away from too. Hopefully just, you know, catch up with guys outside or whatever. But I'm not going to be, you know, kind of hanging around and, you know, dapping up and sticking my fingers in a bowling ball, you know, with a bunch of other people.
Thanks.
We're going to take our last one. Jason Anderson.
Baze, how are you, buddy? Good to see you.
Yes, sir. Same here.
Yeah. Just two things quickly. You mentioned the empty gyms and how much different that's going to be. What kind of have you thought about that, and just, you know, kind of how that's going to feel to play in those gyms, and you know, as far as the noise and the lack of, you know, the crowd noise and volume in the arena, what kinds of things are people going to hear from you guys on the floor that maybe they don't normally hear?
With this team, you're gonna hear a lot. These guys are they get after it, man. I love it. But it's just basketball at the end of the day. You know, it's back to its purest form, where, you know, it's just you, your teammates, and your opponents. You know, it's a game that we all grew up playing, you know, just by ourselves at some point. So, you know, the fans, you know, we would definitely miss them, but at the end of the day, you know, once that ball goes up in the air, you know, you focused on, you know, your schemes, your game plan, and trying to win a basketball game. So I'm sure the fan, I mean, they'll have their say so with, you know, social media, and, you know, whenever you're watching, and if you you know, care about it that much, you can go see what they say after the game. But I think, you know, for the most part, it's just you know, getting the ball up in the air and trying to win games.
And secondly, I know you guys are limited how many guys can be in the building at one time right now. Are you guys, is it, when you come into the gym every day, is it the same guys that they're kind of pairing you with in groups to sort of build some continuity? And are there any things you can do together, or is it all just isolation by yourself at you know, one end of the floor with a basket?
Yeah, they've been doing a good job of keeping us all spread out. We've you know, we've been really diligent with guys having time slots, guys filling their time slots and being on time, and getting in and out of the place when they should. So you know, you can hang around a little bit and see, you know, a guy start his workout, but for the most part, it's just in and out. You come in, get your work in, grab your shake from Brian, and get going.
Thanks, Kent. Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir. You too.